I'm here today with our good friend Glenys Nellist. Glenys is the author of many children's books, including the Little Mole series. She's also the author of the best-selling "'Twas the Evening of Christmas" and the popular series Love Letters from God and the popular series Snuggle Time. Her writing reflects a deep passion for helping children discover joy in the world. Glenys is a prolific author and has been a featured speaker at our Writing for Your Life Christian Children's Book Conferences. We're here today to talk about her new book, Little Mole Goes to School, which releases next week. You can learn more about all of Glenys's work at glenysnellist.com. And let me spell that for you. It's GLENYSNELLIST.com. So Glenys, it's always wonderful to have you here to talk about another one of your new books.
Oh, thank you, Brian. I'm so grateful for our little chat together.
Well, as I said, prolific doesn't even do you justice. You have done so many books. Maybe could you tell people a little bit about some of your more recent ones that have just come out, either earlier this year or late last year?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I'm published with, it's such a blessing for me. I'm published with 3 different publishers, Zonda Kids, then Beaming Books, Our Daily Bread, and I'm soon to be published with Paraclete Press. That was a new,
Wonderful.
a new exciting thing that happened for me a few months ago. So my most recent release this year was Baptized in the Water, and that was a picture book from Zonda Kids that explored all the varying ways to be baptized, with the underlying message that it doesn't really matter where or how or when we are baptized. What matters is that in baptism, we all belong to God. And so that was my most recent picture book, I think published in April.
April, yeah.
Yeah, earlier this year. And then I had a little one release at Easter time, again with Zonda Kids. That was one of the Snuggle Time series. That was Snuggle Time Easter Stories. And then going back, I think before that, prior to that, in the fall of last year, we released I heard you talk about the 'Twas the Evening of Christmas, the 'Twas series.
Right.
Those picture books are based on the famous words of Clement C. Moore, The Night Before Christmas. And so 'Twas the Evening of Christmas was the first one, then 'Twas the Morning of Easter. And then just late last year, we released, again with Zonda Kids, 'Twas the Season of Advent. So, and
those are some of the most beautiful books too.
Thank you. Well, do you know, being a picture book author, of course, a good 50% of that or more are the pictures, the illustrations. And I'm just so blessed to have wonderful illustrators. I don't get to choose who they are, which is a bit scary for a children's author, but I would choose the same ones that my publishers have chosen. So yeah, and then that's as far as I can remember about my most recent book. Yeah.
So the new one, Little Mole Goes to School, is part of the Little Mole series. So can you tell folks a little bit about the previous books in that series?
Sure, yeah. So Little Mole Goes to School is the 3rd in that series. And these picture books, I'll just give you a quick peek I'm going to show you the illustrations later on, but illustrated by Sally Garland, the same illustrator for all these books, and again published by Beaming Books. So this one releases July 26th. So the first book in that series was called Little Mole Finds Hope, and I can't quite remember when this was published. Maybe 2000, I don't know. I have to look at. Yes,
not
yeah,
that long,
right, 2020. Little Mole Finds Hope was published. And so that was everybody's first introduction to this little character who lives in the dark, and he's a little reticent, he's a little shy. And in this book, his mom helps him to find hope, and that hope is hiding even in the darkest places. So that was the first one. And the second one, which we brought out the year after, I think 2021, maybe, I don't know, Little Mole's Christmas Gift. And so this is just a story about Little Mole finds this giant mushroom for Mama for Christmas, and he's so excited to wrap it up and give it to her because it's a big gift. But on his way back to the burrow, he encounters several friends who are in need, and all in different ways. They each need a bit of his mushroom, and he ends up with this little tiny gift for Mama, who of course is not at all disappointed and says that Little Mole's kindness is the best gift she could ever receive. So yeah, one about hope, one about kindness. And so after we brought those two out, I just thought, I wonder if I could write a book about now Little Mole's growing up a bit and he's going to go back to school, and what are some of the problems that he might face and how could they be resolved.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So are there going to be more Little Mole series that you know of
Yeah.
after that or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's back. Little Mole is back next fall. 2023, I think, in maybe the summer, like August, September. Little Mole Gives Thanks is releasing. And so, of course, it's a book aimed for Thanksgiving, but I'm also pretty excited about it because it's actually, if you are a Christian and you are familiar with your Bible, you will see that it is the story of the parable of the great banquet.
Oh, okay.
The master who throws a banquet and he invites important people, and one by one they all give excuses that they can't come. and in the end, the master says, well, go out into the highways and byways and I want my table to be full. That is the story of Little Mole Gives Thanks.
Wow.
He invites Firefighter Fox and he can't come because he's cleaning his fire truck. And Mayor Moose can't come because she has an important committee meeting, So, and in the end, Little Mole says, guess what? The most important people are my friends and family. And so I'm excited for that one. So that will be number 4 coming next year.
Good. Wonderful. It's just amazing how many books in these different series that you've come out with.
Well, this was a really fun series for me because prior to Little Mole, all my books, whether they be board books or picture books, are really, a lot of them are retelling the great stories of the Bible, whether in rhyme or prose, or like, Snuggletime Psalms. Those are the Psalms rewritten for little ones. The baptism book, again, explores a very explicit Christian concept. But Little Mole really was my first dive into, can I write a story, not from the Bible, not inspired per se by the Bible, but just a story that would resonate with little hearts and parents and explore some of those universal things like hope and kindness and discovering what you're good at, which is what Little Mole Goes to School explores. And so these titles for me, I hope very much appeal to the Christian or the faith-filled market, but they're also, what are they called? Not bridge books. There's a name and I always forget what they are. These titles that crossover. There we go. That's why they're called crossover, because they cross over from the faith-based market to the secular. And so, yeah, it's just exciting for me to be able to write a story from my own little imagination.
And so let's go back to the illustrations, for the book. What is there a particular favorite out of the new book, or?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's take a peek. I'm going to give you a little peek inside. So again, these illustrations are done by Sally Garland. She's a Scottish illustrator. And it's so sweet because he's really grown up now, like if you look at him in the first one, I don't know, he's kind of cute and he has a hat. And in this one, the Christmas one, again, he has a different hat, but he's still a little toddler type mole. And this one, look, I don't know, he just looks like he's ready for kindergarten, right? And it's brilliant how she did that. So he's ditched his hat, he's got his little lunch box and a backpack on. And isn't that cute, Brian, the way she put a mushroom on his lunch
Oh, that's
pail?
great.
Yeah, so I always love to see the illustrations by Sally. So do I have a favorite? Oh my gosh. Well, the first one, look at him with Mama. I love that one. And of course, he's all worried. And what he's worried about is, well, he doesn't know his ABCs. And he thinks he's not good at anything. Um, in real life, moles cannot see very well. They're very short-sighted moles. And neither can they hear well. And so I kind of played on those things, that little mole's going to compare himself to little hare who has giant ears, and little mole wants those ears, you know. Or little squirrel who can see very well. Squirrels can see very well, and he's envious, you know. And so I think, you know, I think this book is so true to life, not just for kids, but for adults, because we all do it, no matter how old we are. We always want what the other person has, you know.
Yeah,
It's like I would like her like she's got, you know, or so so I think it's great to explore that it's kind of human and natural to compare ourselves to others, but guess what? We all have unique gifts, you know. So this, I love this picture. Look at that one where he's going into school and he's all, Sally just captured his anxiety, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So my favorite, let me see, might be one of them when he's in the school, which of course the school is in the middle of the woods. Well, any of these really, I'm going to show you. So here's Mrs. Badger, the teacher, and I just love, I don't know, I just think it's so cute the way she's got all the pupils sitting on these little logs, you know.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So here's the hare with the massive ears. And here's little mole. And he's all worried. And this one, guess what? That's little lark. And little lark can already sing her ABCs, you know.
Oh, that's great.
And so honestly, in terms of choosing a favorite, how can you? They're all so adorable. Do you want me to tell you what happens?
No.
Well, not all of it, not all of it. But anyway, well, they go out to recess, and a problem develops on the playground, and little Mole discovers that he can save the day.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Good for
And
him.
so he's going to use what he's good at to
very cool.
save the day. So I'm just going to show you the very last page, because that's one of my favorites too. Wait, it is that page where little Mole and Mama are, you know, he went to school all reticent and anxious, and now he's going home, and he had a great day, and he can't wait to get back to school tomorrow. So they're all my favorites, you know.
So speaking of which, it's like you presented me with a problem, because 4 of the endorsements for your book are all from other good author friends of mine. So I have a hard time picking which one I want to read. Right, so you've got Matthew Paul Turner, Jennifer Grant, Karen Rivendier, and Tracy Smith. Right, so who am I supposed to pick?
I don't know. It's very hard.
All right, well, I'll just start with a couple. I like Jennifer Grant says, Lark sings, mole digs, hare listens. Kids will learn about the natural world as well as about overcoming their fears in this sweet story. That really sounds like it sums it up well.
Yeah. Well, one of my good friends who's a kindergarten teacher, she said she loves Little Mole because it actually helps her kids to learn about the natural world. You know, they're going to learn what moles are not good at and what they are good at. And so, yeah, in the back of the book, there are some fun facts. It's called Did You Know? So in the very back, I just compiled these fun facts for kids about moles and larks and hares and squirrels.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then Well, I'll save that we can talk about that very last page in a minute. But yeah, Jennifer's endorsement was really wonderful because it's like fun facts, but hopefully a good story too.
And so Matthew Paul Turner says, Glenys Nellist has long been one of my favorite picture book writers. And here, her approach to talking about fear, worries, and insecurities is both practical and profound.
Oh, I know. Wow, that's just such high praise from Matthew Paul Turner. I was so, yeah, blessed when I read that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Well, I just, stories are powerful, aren't they? They're simple and they're sweet, but a good story, I think, underneath will always um, give pause to ponder and how does this relate to your life, and explore some truths at some depth. So hopefully Little Mole, as sweet as he is, will do that.
So let's go back to that back section in the book that you want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. So in Little Mole Finds Hope, I wrote some tips for not just parents, caregivers, the adults in children's lives. And that was, I'm just checking. Yeah, in that book, I wrote tips to help a child who's feeling sad.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this book, at first, I was thinking of including tips to help a child like learn their alphabet. And then Naomi Kruger, who is my editor, fabulous editor, she said, you know what, let's go a bit deeper because the story's not really about him learning his alphabet, although that comes into it. But why don't we focus more on either helping a child discover their unique gifts or how about helping a child who's anxious about starting school? Because that's a very real,
Oh, yeah.
very real fear for little kids and the parents, what strategies to cope and to prepare for that event. And so I thought, yeah, she's absolutely right. So I started, Googling, tips to help a child who's anxious about starting school. And I started reading various things. And then I thought, oh my gosh, right in our very own church, we have a child and family therapist called Andrew Gladstone Highland. And I thought, just going to ask him, would he like to contribute? And so he did. And so, yeah, in the back of the book, there are 5 wonderful tips from Andrew Gladstone Highland, right there, to help a child who's anxious about starting school. And so, oh my, he did such a much better job than I ever could have done. And he's the professional. He's the one that knows, So
Very cool.
yeah, I was thrilled that he could contribute in that way. And I just hope it will be an extra help for parents, grandparents, whoever's raising their child. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything else you'd like to let the readers know about the book?
Well, on my website, and actually on Beaming Books on the website, with the book listing, there is a free downloadable activity pack. I was a teacher a long time ago in my previous life, and writing resource packs is something I love to do. And so that's free. You can download it. It has got lots of teaching a child their alphabet tips. What we did was we put those tips into the free pack instead. So there's alphabet games and tips for that. There's like a maze. There's a matching game. There's just all sorts of fun activities to accompany the book. So yeah. And for anybody who pre-orders, because I think, well, the book releases next Tuesday. So if this comes out before then, or you know what, actually, it doesn't even matter. For anybody that orders the book and would like a little self-adhesive book plate, again, Beaming Books make these for me and I mail them out.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, because then people can have a signed copy. So that's not just for pre-orders, and I'll happily mail a little bookmark.
Oh,
And
very cool.
yeah, a self-adhesive book plate too. So
Very nice. Very nice.
yeah.
So I know you talked a little bit about the next Little Mole book. What else is on your plate for release in the near future that you can talk about at least?
Well, to finish off this year, I have two after Little Mo goes to school. Then I think in late September, I've got two new books releasing in my Good News series. Those are with Our Daily Bread. And they're so, I mean, I'm a bit biased, but they're so cute and the illustrator's wonderful. Those are called Good News, It's Creation, and Good News, God Loves You. And then to end the year, I've got, oh my, I think it's the seventh in the Snuggle Time series. It's called Snuggle Time Love. And I just got my advanced copy the other day. Oh, it's like a soft padded cover. But that book, I think, will be great for Valentine's Day because it takes the passage from Corinthians. Oh, I can't quite remember where it's from now. Love is patient, love is kind, love doesn't envy. I know it's in Corinthians somewhere.
1 Corinthians 13, I think.
Oh, you're so good, Brian. That was on the tip of my tongue, but thanks for helping me. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 13. So it just breaks that down, and it's written in poetry, and it just explores what does that mean? Love never boasts, or love is not proud. What does that mean for little ones? So yeah, it keeps me busy.
No, it's excellent. It's so wonderful that you fill the world with all of the joyful books that you produce. It's really a sight to behold and just an amazing productivity.
Well, thank you. I've said it before and it sounds a bit cheesy, but when I sit down to write, when I finish it, I just think, oh my goodness, where did that come from? So I just thank God for giving me the writing gift and being able to be a part of such wonderful teams with illustrators and publishers, and just be able to do it. It's a huge blessing and I love it. Yeah.
Well, it's quite a blessing for all the rest of us too.
Oh, thank you.
So again, the latest book is The Little Mole Goes to School. It's releasing next week, and you can learn about all of Glenys's work at glenysnellist.com. So Glenys, thank you so much. Congratulations again on this book and all your wonderful books.
Oh, thank you so much, Brian. As always, it was a joy.